Hi,
Hey,
Daniel.
hey, hello.
How are you? How is everything?
Very good. Listen.
Wow, that's very nice. That's very nice. There is a big story behind this T-shirt that we are going to tell our audience today. But first
Okay,
of all, let me say welcome to our live stream. Basically,
thank you.
what we are doing, just to let you know what we are doing during the holy month of Ramadan, that and especially with the lockdown, that most people are staying at home, they cannot go outside. We wanted basically to educate our audience and to show them why we love this sport, the car sport, and why we are big fans of Corvettes. Um, Today we are hosting Daniel. Daniel is the president of, I like the word president, by the way. He's the president of Venezuela
Sounds good.
Corvette Club. We have a very good relationship with them, and as everybody can see right now, that Daniel is actually wearing the T-shirt of our club.
Very good.
Yeah, this is East Coast Corvette Club. Um, Everybody is so excited to know you, Daniel, and to hear more about Venezuela Corvette Club. So I'll leave it to you so you can introduce yourself, and if you can tell us again a little bit about yourself. When did you start loving this sport? And then we will ask you more questions.
Okay, very good. Well, thank you to all of you and your audience about the invitation. I feel very honored to be part of this, I would say, club and this live video. Well, my name is Daniel Fernandez. Actually, I been fanatic of the car actually since I was a kid, and the stories about Corvettes started when I was 17 years old actually, when usually the place we gathered in the city, there was a guy with a Corvette C3,
C3.
and at that time usually
So
there
this is
was
the first love. Is a C3.
yes, there was this guy, the C3. He had a red C3, beautiful with an Edelbrock engine. At
Wow.
that time, we're talking about 1993, if I'm not mistaken,
Okay.
1981. And at that time, that car has 450 horsepower. You can imagine big, powerful engine at that time. And it
At the
was the
90s,
fastest.
yeah.
It was the fastest car in the whole city in Caracas. Nobody could beat the car. So I fell in love with from that day on with the Corvettes. Obviously, I was very young, and I said one day I will buy my Corvette. And I have other several cars like Nissan 350Z
Okay.
supercharged. I had Mustangs. I have a couple of Mustangs. I also had German cars. I had a Porsche Carrera as well.
What's the model of the
Uh,
Carrera?
it was a 997 Carrera,
Excellent.
Carrera S, yes, Carrera S. And I started to feel at that time, I was feeling more, I needed more power, Very great car, great handling car, but I was missing the punch of the turbos.
Mm.
So I was looking for turbos in the market in Venezuela, but there were very few and nobody wanted to sell. And the opportunity for buying the Corvette C7, I own a Corvette C7,
Excellent. So this
Stingray.
is your first Corvette, right?
It was actually my first Corvette. The
Okay.
opportunity for the C7 came up, and I traded the car for the C7, and obviously I paid some difference, small difference. It was a used car, but in very great condition.
Excellent.
Automatic transmission. And obviously, first time, obviously the power of this LT1 engine, I was really impressed. A lot of torque this car has. And I always liked these American engines, the sound of the camshaft, the lovely
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
camshaft.
It's the
So
V8 sound that nobody can resist, actually.
That's right.
Uh,
That's right.
but it seems that you love this sport very much because the cars you mentioned, I mean, having a Mustang 350Z and also having the Corvette, seem like you're a big fan. Tell me more about the club. How many members you have, and was it your idea to start the club,
Yeah.
or it was only already established?
No, it was actually my idea, but it didn't, I didn't, how you say, it's something that grew up from, um, how you say, out of when I bought the car, the Corvette, I found out we had three other friends with Corvettes as well.
Okay.
So then we start gathering together, and then we met more and more people in Caracas, the capital city, that had Corvettes. So I started to organize some meetings last year, and then we said, well, why don't we create the Corvette Club? I look at in the internet, and there was no Corvette Club of Venezuela. And then I start searching. The club has been sort of like searching for the cars owners, and during this year, we already have 1 year with the club. We found that there are many car owners with Corvettes parked.
Hello.
I'm back.
Okay.
I'm back. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
No problem.
So we found that there are many car owners in Venezuela with Corvettes, and they have these Corvettes parked in the parking lot. And the story had somehow repeated over and over. When I talked to each of the owner, they said, well, they said that the Corvettes the lines are so beautiful. They are very, how you say, people like to see them, and in Venezuela the security situation is not that good, so there are some of them were afraid to go outside with the car by themselves. So obviously it's not the same to go by one car by themselves when you gather 3, 4, 5, 10 cars all the sudden, so you feel sort of more protected. So
Of course, yeah.
so we start looking for Corvette owners across the country. Right now we have 97 Corvettes registered.
97.
97,
That's almost
yes.
like 100.
Almost,
Okay.
yes, we're almost. Actually, my target for this year is to reach 120. 120, I think we can reach this year. And actually,
this is a growth mindset. You're talking business now.
Yeah, actually, I'm talking about business again. So we create so we register the people in the club and so on. And interesting, the market for the Corvettes in Venezuela was very depressed. So the Corvettes you could find quite cheap last year. Really? And people were selling these Corvettes relatively cheap because nobody knew them, and they have the stores and so on. And after we create the Corvette Club, actually everybody we create like a Corvette fever, particularly in Caracas, and the price of the Corvette starting to increase around almost 20%. Yes, almost 20%.
Because everybody wants to be part of your club. This is why.
Yes, exactly.
High.
Exactly.
Tell me about what are the activities that you are doing. Let's say, I wouldn't say on a daily basis. Just tell me monthly or in the weekends. What are the activities that you keep doing in the club?
Well,
you keep engaged with the members.
Well, we obviously Caracas is where of the 97 Corvettes we have in the club, around 42 are in Caracas. Okay, so it's quite a big quantity of cars in Caracas that I'm currently living in Caracas, the capital city. So it's very easy for me to organize trips, or sometimes we do gathering meetings in some restaurants where we park the cars, we talk to friends among each other, we invite some friends with other type of cars. Mustangs, Camaros, Porsche as well.
Can I ask the gathering that you are doing? Is this just like meet and greet? So there is no
it's like
racing,
a
for example?
cars. Yes, it's like a cars and coffee and so on. So we just
Yeah.
gather to have some food, to have some coffee, to have some beers, and obviously, so from time to time we go outside Caracas. We do the trips to a couple of cities that are like an hour and a half, 2 hours drive. So we can go trips in the mornings and come back in the afternoon. So we can, we can gather with other club members or in other cities as well. Actually, this year we wanted to do like a national event. It was supposed to happen actually last week. That was our original date on May 1st. And
But with the
obviously, gather around, I'm not saying the full 97, but I would say around 50%, around 40, 45. That would be very impressive, all these cars all together.
So tell me about racing, for example. Do you have like tracks that you do drag racing, for example, or circuits? How do you utilize the sport in Venezuela?
Well, interesting. In Venezuela, there is no speed limit. So, so some people use the highways to drive fast. Actually, obviously, it's not. In some cases, it's not safe. I do have to accept that highways are not for racing. But people tend to, how you say, drain adrenaline in the highways. But obviously we have a couple of circuits here, tracks, but you can do road racing, but the asphalt is not in good condition, so they need some maintenance. So what we have is more dragways, okay, and drag racing is very popular in Venezuela.
Really?
Yes, it's very, very popular, drag racing. And this year, I'm organizing road racing in an airport.
Excellent.
There is an airport. It's not an abandoned airport; it's an active airport. But I managed to agree with the the government institution that control the airport to have 1 day available for road racing, half mile,
really
800 meters, half mile event.
This sport, you have to utilize, let's say, proper spaces,
That's right.
proper locations.
That's right.
This would be very good for the members of the club themselves.
Yes.
I have two questions. Tell me, what are the principles that you have in the club? What are, let's say, the red lines that if you want to join us, you have to do this, and we are forbidding racing on the streets. If you want to race, if you want to drift, there is proper locations that you need to utilize them. So tell me more about Venezuela Club.
Yeah, actually, we obviously drink and drive is something that we don't want our members to do. So that's actually the most important one. About the racing, we are not so strict, but obviously, when sometimes people start trying to race on the streets, usually I keep the pace to a certain level that we keep everybody under control. Okay, but generally speaking, right now again, because the club is quite, I would say, small. Venezuela, the Porsche Club Venezuela has like 200 cars registered. Yes, so I haven't put so many restrictions at the moment. But I would say what I can say is that the people that have Corvettes in Venezuela has a very high, how you say, education standard, professional businessmen, and they know how to behave, I would say. Okay, so
Excellent.
There are no kids, there are no teenagers in the club. I would say average age of the Corvette team is around 45. I would say average age.
But you would, and correct me if I'm wrong, you would welcome young people to join you, because the bottom line is that you don't want reckless driving. So this would be actually a very fantastic opportunity to attract young people who might find reckless is something to prove to everybody that.
That's right. Yes, but as I said, John, again, because of the current economic situation in the country, again, even the used Corvettes, let's say the C5, the C6, are, I would say, will be considered a little bit expensive for, let's say, people, let's say, in the age of 25, 20s, and so on. So as I said, the Corvettes has in Venezuela, let's say, more attracted to the, let's say, 30-something, 35, 38, and 40s above. So,
okay.
Okay. Yeah. So there is a young, how you say, a young target club, which is Seat. They gather Seat, Audi, and Volkswagen, and they have all the hatchbacks, the Audi S3s, the Golf GTIs, Golf R, all these German hatchbacks. Yes, yeah. German hatchback. And yes, there you can see many young guys of the 18s, 17s, 20s, and those guys are crazy, really crazy.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah, it is affordable cars. Can I ask, when you say about, let's talk a little bit about the prices. So let's say used in a good condition, C5 or C6, how much is it worth in dollars?
In dollars, a C5 could be between 15 to 20,000.
20, okay.
The C6 are actually in demand, actually, and the last C6 was sold for 30,000.
Okay.
And the C6 CO6 could be sold for 40,000. Okay, more or less, and then the C7s are more on the used one are more on the 55 to 65,000 range.
Okay. Of the prices is similar to what we have in here. The difference is not that much between the prices we have in here and there. Tell me again. Let's go back to the club. How do you fund the club? And actually, it's very important for me to ask this question because, again, it's not only our club. Most of the clubs in here are self-funded. So you're talking about the membership fees that we pay ourselves is basically we use it to establish the club. We use it to buy some stuff so we can use them when we do trips, for example, or when we do any kind of gathering. So
that's right.
For example, or when we do any kind of gathering. So
that's right. Because the fund is quite, the club is quite, John. My intention actually for this year was to start creating these memberships. Okay, first I wanted to create the atmosphere that people feel, how you say, happy and enjoy being gathering together. Now that this friendship has created, now my idea is to start requesting the membership. Because obviously, as you said, I would like to do some trips, or if we go to some places to have our own, let's say, tent, for example, and so on.
Camping.
So obviously, yes, exactly, camping and stuff like that. So definitely, the membership is something that for this year is one within my plans to implement. Okay, as in any other club. For example, Porsche Club has has that. Porsche Club has that in Venezuela. So yes, this is my plan. But for the moment, we don't have that membership. Mm-hmm.
Okay, excellent. Actually, I'm seeing that the guys are putting in the comments that the cars are actually, or the prices you mentioned are more expensive than what we have in here. Guys, if you can hear me, or our friend, by the way, it's very interesting that we have one of the members. He has a nickname. His name is Raul. So Raul, please, if you can put me the prices, shift them into dollars and put them in there so I can give Daniel a little bit idea about it. So the guys are actually asking about how many generations of Corvettes you have within your club. So what is the oldest? What is the?
We have all generations. We have from C1s. There are actually a couple of C1s that the serial numbers are quite valuable, and we check them. And in the US, these particular cars are valued in $150,000 to $180,000 cars, so actually quite valuable C1s.
Yes, that's
matching numbers, exactly. Yeah. There are C2s, beautiful, like three C2s that are. One of them was signed Chip Foose, this American designer, visit Venezuela in 2013. He was so impressed about this car, how it was restored. He signed the car. So we have C1, C2, C3s. C4 is the most quantity of cars that we have. I guess it's because in the 80s, late 80s, early 90s, Venezuela economy was booming. And again, for statistics wise, of the 97 Corvettes, we have around 30, 35 C4s. So I would say 1/3 of the club members have C4s, of which we have 4 CR1s, 4 C4 CR1s with LT5 engines. Yeah. That's it. With the LT5 engine, and they are working in perfect conditions, operating conditions.
Excellent.
We actually have a C6 CR1, and there is a club member that wants to import a C7 CR1. He's planning to import this C7 CR1, and I know for a fact. I've been told by a friend in outside Caracas, in a city called Valencia, that there are already a couple of C8s in Venezuela already arrived.
Really?
A couple of
two C8s.
Two C8s are. I don't know the owners. I'm trying to get who the owners are. They are not in the club members, but I'm trying to find who they are and try to invite them to be part of the club.
It would be a very good addition to the club. It's actually, I mean, considering that most of the members, they have a C4 and you have about 97 members, that's quite, that's a lot of number of C4s that you have within the club. Would you be able to tell us what is the most spectacular Corvettes that you have? Let's say classic and new one. And what is it special about them?
Yeah, there is the C1, one of these C1, the matching number I mentioned to you. It's white car. You can see it in the Instagram page. It's a white C1 with these double headlights. So you can see it and that car is in beautiful. I mean, it's like brand new. It's like what's beautiful, yeah, it is. There is also in the Instagram, you can see there is a C2, blue C2. All original, but there is also another one that is a cabriolet. It's a resto mode car. The guy did it all the work by himself. This is very impressive. He spent 1 year of his life working. He said 8 to 10 hours a day in the car by himself. Engine, chassis, brakes, interior, everything. All the restoration was done.
Do you have this culture of restoring cars in Venezuela, starting from zero?
There are some, we have some shops that are dedicated to this. And actually, every time I see one of these cars in so good conditions, one of the first things that I ask to the owner is who did the work. And I'm being very impressed about the quality of the work that we have here in terms of not only the paint shops, but also the tuners as well. So that's going back to the cars, the C2, again, beautiful C2. There is a guy that restored last year a C3. C3 is also in the Instagram. It's like a gold type, like a gold color, beige. I would say gold to beige color. He also spent a year and many thousands of dollars restoring the car in, again, beautiful condition. I can send you pictures of these cars because very, very, very nice. The classics are the most nicer to see. Obviously, the newer generations, yes, you can see it. But let's say they are newer, but the classic ones are beautiful to see them.
Excellent. I have a very I wouldn't say strange, but I have a question that a lot of people have curiosity about it. So basically, we are here suffering a lot from police, from traffic department. Regarding our cars, because it's noisy. Some people, and again, they are trying to pull you over, saying that you were speeding while you were not speeding. Some of them actually are not familiar with the car specification. I mean, if they saw that you have 4 mufflers and on the back of the Corvette, they would ask you why you are having 4 mufflers, for example, and they would give you a ticket for that. So the question is, do you face any kind of issues with with police or traffic department in general in Venezuela?
It has happened, not about noise, not about that kind of stuff, but it happens that sometimes we are pulled over. In some cases, they just pull over just to check the cars, just to see them. They just go, oh, wow, and they start taking pictures. In some cases, they they stop the cars to check the papers, if all the papers are okay, and that's it. But we don't have again, speeding is not an issue in Venezuela, but it doesn't mean at this moment it's not an issue. It doesn't mean that in the future there might be new laws that they can impose. So. But yes, we have been pulled over from time to time because of the cars being to check the papers and so on.
I can see from the expression on the guys and the comments that they are planning actually to immigrate to Venezuela.
Well, as I said, it has.
It's really something that is really bothering us.
Actually,
you never know. Hopefully, in the future, there are some talks that they are going to basically put rules for the specification of the cars, so we can travel hopefully safely without being pulled over. Let's just cross fingers for that.
You know, it's interesting because the guys are saying this because you ask our guys, they will say, "Oh, I would love to go to Saudi Arabia and have my car over there."
They are more than welcome to come to visit us.
Yeah, I think. Yeah. There are pros and cons, I would say. For example, our highways, they are okay, but they are not in the best conditions. Sometimes there are many bends. So obviously, if you go very fast, this could be dangerous, okay? It's not like a flat, super straight tarmac that you can go like could be in Saudi Arabia. Here, yes, you have the highways, but not such a great conditions, for example. So it has pros and cons, and there is a security part. The security part that Venezuela security is not in the best moment at this stage. So I would say it's pros and cons.
I'll tell you what. Since we have a tourism visa that you can apply for, you are more than welcome to come. You and the 97 owners. All of your families, you are more than welcome to visit Saudi.
Thank you.
You will really enjoy it. We got a lot of similarities, and you will see a friendly people in here. Do you think that there will be a possibility in the future that we have like a global gathering of Corvette owners, like all of the club?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think why not, because I think as I mentioned to you yesterday when we were talking, obviously in Venezuela there are fanatics of the cars, okay, but there are also the good guys from Mexico. I know the president of Corvette Club Mexico. I also know the president of Corvette Club Spain. I know one of the representatives of the Corvette Club Russia, as I was mentioned to you yesterday.
Yeah.
I think you know very well our friend Timothy Fallen from Corvette Club Hawaii.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. So I have been able to establish some contacts with some few guys, and I don't see why not if we manage to do some let's say some gathering Middle East to have a global gathering. Why not? Yes, I think that would be interesting.
It is. You mentioned Russia, and I guess most of the guys basically so they don't know most of the stuff we were talking about yesterday. So again, just to start the conversation, tell us what you are doing at the moment. What is your profession who you are working with? And then tell us about Russia's story.
Okay. Yes, you're right. I missed that part. Yes, I work for a Russian oil company. I've been working with the Russians for the last almost 10 years. And I lived for 2 years in Moscow. At that time, worked for TNK-BP. It's an oil was private company between BP and TNK owners, Russian, very rich Russians guy. And being in Russia, we were discussing yesterday about the passions that Russians has also for cars. It's not like they just buy the cars and just keep it like that. They just buy the cars and heavily modify the cars as well. And there is actually a quite interesting Corvette club in Russia. I'm part of the how do you say, they invited me to be part of the chat. Obviously, they speak Russian. I speak a little bit of Russian, so I can manage myself talking to them. Yes. And but the Russians, I said, they are very passionate about cars. They have interesting race every year. It's called the Unlimited 500. I don't know if you have seen in YouTube. Go and check. They do race for 1 kilometer. The race are 1 kilometer long. They have very long straight where they use from 0 start to 1 kilometer. Obviously, they measure 400, 800 meters and then 1 kilometer races. And the cars that you see there, so obviously, are German cars, Japanese cars, and American cars as well. There are some few Corvettes going there.
Excellent. I think we need to get in touch also with Russia Corvette Club again to have this global interaction with them. But tell us about the relationship with East Coast Corvette Club in Saudi. How did it start? I mean, some people, when they see you, for example, wearing this T-shirt, they would say, "How come you got this T-shirt? What is the have you been working in Saudi before or something like this?" So tell us again how you started there. And Mohammed told me the story yesterday, but it's better actually to even hear it from your side.
Well, I think again, one of the things that I've been trying to do with the Corvette Club is not only to be Venezuela, it's not only to be local in terms of people knowing the Corvettes in Venezuela, only in Venezuela, but I'm also trying to get followers and get in touch with people in other parts of the world. So I started following, looking in Instagram, and I started following East Coast Corvette Club. And then one day Mohammed approached me and we start chatting and sharing pictures and even we share phones number and we share we talk through WhatsApp and so on. So it was interesting, and people in Venezuela were surprised when we exchanged a voice note, and I was saying hello two friends in East Coast Corvette Club, and he was also sending me voice notes for the people. And here in Venezuela, people were like, "Wow, really surprised to see that we have started this relationship." And he even mentioned to me, actually, obviously that was last year. Things have changed, obviously, in the country, but we actually discussed for potential visit of you guys to Venezuela. And I said, yeah, why not? I mean, people will be glad to host you and to, how you say, there are a few people in the club that has more than one Corvette, and they will be happy to share the Corvette with one of you guys if you guys come. So yeah, that's how things started. And he shared with me this shirt. I was really honored to see. I was not expecting. I was really surprised, and actually felt bad because our teacher is not that was not completed at that time, and I still owe that. But I'm sure this year we will send you something for you guys to have.
No problem. This is the generosity of Arabs and Saudis.
Thank you.
To be specific. He
you.
sent you the T-shirt, and also there is a plate. Do you have the plate?
The plate, yes, I have the plate. I don't have it here with me. I have it downstairs, but yes, I have the plate, the cap, everything is. It's great, and the book. Wow,
yeah,
beautiful.
Excellent. What do you think? Again, the things that you want to see in the future in your club and also in our club. Let's say that it's not only about the relationship. It's not only about doing likes in Instagram. It's also about let's say growing this relationship. Tell me, let's say in a year or two time.
I think
see us, both of us.
I think one of the things is the technical side of the cars. You know, some people. I noticed that some people in the Corvette club that have the newer Corvettes, they don't know too much about the technical aspect of the car. So I think there is a lot of the technical parts, the technical side of the cars. The ones that have the classic cars, yes, they know very well the history of these cars, but the new ones are not. And there is a lot of technology in these cars. And I always, and as I said, I had German cars like Porsche, and I said that to my friends that. They always say, oh, American cars, cheap cars, and so on, but they actually, it's because they haven't driven one of these Corvettes, and again, all the technology that is behind. So I would say technology is one thing. I would say I think the friendship side of this, how we can interact with other people. Is very important, not only limited to our cities, to our few friends, but also expanding is another thing, how we can interact. And you know, it's one of the nice things for me, obviously, as you know, leading this club is taking me time, okay, and I have to balance my work with my personal life and also the club. And sometimes people ask me, how do you do? And takes me time. But again, going back to the next thing for the future is, again, the relationship building with friends. And this has allowed me to meet people like you guys in East Coast. So for me, this is quite valuable. And this has been the most, rewarding thing of being leading
Pleasure
this
is all
club.
ours. Pleasure is all ours.
Yes.
Can I ask you again, the members you have, and again, it's different than what we have in here, because the members we have are all males or men's from different ages. But I guess it's different. The members you got males and females, right?
We have one female only, actually.
Only
one.
Oh
only one female. Actually, her name is Gisela, and she has a C7. a C7
Okay.
Corvette. Yes, she has a
Greeting
C7.
from us to her.
Yes,
Being the
yes,
only
yes.
member, the only female
She
member
is
within
the
this
only
club.
member.
I'm very surprised by this answer, by the way, because I thought that even it's a cultural thing that we have in here. We got
I
actually
understand.
actually some females owning a Corvette, but they wouldn't join an official club. They just wanted for themselves.
Yes.
But I was surprised that you have only one female member within your club.
Yes, 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 yes. Yes, oh, yes. I'm always my wife from time to time she drives my Corvette. But yes, only one female. No, I haven't found any other lady that likes drive this Corvette. But it's maybe
I
it's a
guess
what we call in Latin like a machista kind of things.
that sounds amazing, by the way. I think for the guys who are watching us, they need to understand that for you in Venezuela, I think Spanish is the main language that you
Yes,
speak, and English
yes,
is the second one. While
that's
with
right.
us, Arabic is the main language, and most of people are using English for business-wise only.
That
But most of the
is the
things we
same.
have here in the country are only Arabic.
It's the same.
But
Yeah.
yeah, still amazed that I guess we need to work on, and again, let's go back to business words that we need to work in our diversity and inclusion.
Diversity and
So,
inclusion.
so
Yes.
it's D&I that we need to work on to, again, attract more people who are going to attract more people and more people. Tell me again, Daniel, if you were to choose one model of Corvettes that you want to own very badly, which one would it be? Which generation, which model?
Wow, that's an interesting question. um, that's a very difficult question because I actually I always said to people that they are not let's say ugly Corvettes. All Corvettes for all generations have beautiful lines. I would say a 3.3. I would say a 3.3
P3.
will be the Corvette
The
because it
first
was the
love,
first one.
yeah,
The
a
first
red
love.
one also, right?
Doesn't matter the color. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter the color. Yeah.
Excellent,
Yeah.
excellent.
But I would say the C3.
Yeah, the guys were wondering also about modifying cars in Venezuela. Is it easy thing to modify your cars? Do you have, for
Yes.
example, let's talk about two things mainly, the shops and also
Mhm.
the spare parts.
Yes. Well, the spare parts, everything we import from the US. We had the advantage that it's quite close.
Yeah,
So you can order parts through internet, get to the courier, and then 5 days later to getting them in Venezuela by plane. They are small part, obviously. So let's say in 10 days you can get your parts in Venezuela. If you are talking about bigger parts, yeah, you need to ship them by ships, and it will take you around a month to get your parts. But there are no stores here that have a spare part for Corvettes. No, nobody has. There is no such a thing. In terms of shops, there are a couple of very good shops here in Venezuela. I would say one is more specialized than other in Corvettes, but both of them are great. They have great mechanics. The ones that I use, for example, for my C7, we decided to do an interesting project for having let's say, trying to reach touching the 9 seconds in the quarter mile with a natural aspirated engine.
that's nice.
So yes, so the owner is he's actually has American background, although he's Venezuelan. His father is from US, and very very clever guy, very hardworking, excellent mechanic, and excellent tuner. And we are getting there. We are improving the car and getting there. So in terms of mechanics, we have very good mechanics here in Venezuela that have all the manuals for the C6, the C7s, and so on.
Excellent, excellent. Good news. I guess most of the guys who are surprised actually about the answers that you are putting for some of the questions. And again, for us here, modifying the cars, I believe somehow it's easy. It wasn't like this before, but now since the majority of people know how to order parts from the internet, it is becoming very easy for them to even start modifying their cars by themselves. We got a lot of shops in here. The only, as I said, the only issues we have is with police. But other than that, I mean, everybody are taking it seriously. I guess from the 90s and also in the 80s. You're talking also about the first time we had or we basically found oil here in the country back in the 60s. And I guess since then we've been falling in love with the American cars.
Yes.
And actually tomorrow we are going to have the live stream with the president of the Classic Cars Club here in Saudi.
Okay, very good.
It would be a very nice opportunity for people to see, I would say, the heritage of the American muscles and also the old cars that we used to have back in the 60s, 50s, and also in the 70s. You mentioned before that the German cars, especially the Porsche, they are very popular, I guess, in Venezuela. Is there like a reason behind that? I mean, I would understand the American cars, but the German cars, it's a little bit weird for me.
Yeah, well, actually, German cars are were quite popular in Venezuela since in the 60s, even in the 60s, 70s. There was even Mercedes-Benz had a small plant assembling Mercedes in Venezuela. We also, yes, that was in the 60s, 70s, and then they left. So we have even the buses, Mercedes-Benz cars, and so on. Then in terms of the Porsches, the story is very interesting. We had a dealership in Venezuela, of Porsche dealership, and the story about this dealership is that there was this guy, quite wealthy guy, that wanted to buy a Porsche 959, which you remember in the 90s, that was the supercar of Porsche.
Yes.
And obviously that was a limited production. So Porsche didn't want, he owned other Porsches, but he didn't want to, he wanted this car, and Porsche said, well, the only way we will sell you the car if you invest in Porsche, in having a dealership. So okay, he said fine. He opened, and then he decided to open the dealership. Got his 950. Actually, he had two 959s, which are not longer in Venezuela, by the way. He shipped it back to the U.S. But so Porsche has, at that time, Venezuela was booming, economy was booming, and Porsche was really, really popular. Imagine when Porsche launched 996 globally, they launched 996 that was 1998, if I'm not mistaken, the first Porsche 996. First, they launched in Germany, second in Venezuela, and third in the US.
That's really amazing.
Yes.
That's very special.
Yes, imagine. So the demand and the sales of Porsches in Venezuela, when the Cayenne was launched, hundreds of Porsches Cayenne were sold. So there is obviously the passion for the Porsche, because they are car of sort of obviously very fast, but also very robust cars. You know, they are very strong, and obviously the status part of the car. You know, having a Porsche is, give you a certain social status as well. So But yeah, yes, Porsches are very popular, obviously very expensive.
Actually, one of the guys in here is asking, and we might consider this as the last question before we end our live stream. Although I really loved it so much, being an easygoing person that we can have a chat with. So one of our friends is asking about. Again, you heard about our club. You had a lot of conversations with Mohammed. What do you think about the East Coast Corvette Club in general? And let's say that there is something in the club that you want to implement in your club.
Well, the question is very, very interesting. Obviously, I've seen your gatherings, very, very big. I see that you can in the videos that Mohammed has shared with me, your trips and your gatherings, and I think I would say I have to recognize you are more organized than what we are. Okay, that's something that I need to improve. With the gatherings, with the let's say the speeches, the time together. So yes, that's something that I would like to, let's say, copy and take it here. Here in Venezuela it has some challenges to have that, but it's definitely something to I would like to copy this level of organization that you guys have.
Excellent. We're very honored to have this fantastic feedback from yourself. And I guess we also would learn more also from you guys. Again, it's about sharing knowledge, and we're not saying that we are perfect. We believe that we need to build ourselves to make sure that we have a very strong club that is going to attract a lot of people. So yeah, it's shared responsibility, and also since we are doing a lot of charity work, I would say also that this is something you might consider. Have you done any charity work before?
No, we haven't, and something that we got a suggestion from one of our followers, and I think it was a great thing to get idea, which is. They wanted us to go to the, how you say, there is hospitals, Venezuela, for kids with cancer.
Okay.
So it's something that maybe some of this to bring the cars there to show them and to put the kids on the car. So this is something that definitely something that will lift the spirits of the kids as well. So yes, definitely a very good idea that
fantastic idea.
I would like
to
implement.
Want to implement it actually in here. In terms of our work with hospitals, we've done a lot of charity work towards blood donation. So this might be something for you to consider. Not sure how it goes in Venezuela, but it is really something nice. I mean, it's we share the responsibility within the society we live in that we need. It's not only about taking from them; it's also about giving. So it's give and take situation that we want to utilize it so much so people can have a good, let's say, reputation about our club.
That's right. Yes, you're right. I mean, this is the one of the things in Venezuela at this stage, which is quite difficult, is when people see these cars, they get surprised, and they always think that some of these cars cost hundreds of thousands of dollars just because they see the nice shape. They don't know the actual value. And some people criticize. It's unfortunate that some people criticize. They think that we have these cars because some people were doing funny business. Unfortunately, Venezuela corruption is very, very high, and people start thinking that you guys have these cars because you did some funny business. Exactly. And this is the flip side of doing this more, let's say, charity work or doing this exposure work, that not everybody has how you say, maturity, I would say, or to understand that you can buy one of these cars if you work really hard. And I tell you, I know all of our team members. I've been talking for hours with each of them. I know what they do, and I know people that have been working really hard to buy their cars, to maintain their cars, and not being in any funny business or some stuff like that. So.
Yeah. Excellent. All right, Daniel, thanks a lot for sharing all of this information and to get to know you even better. A final word that you want to give to people in Saudi, and specifically the Corvette lovers that are watching us.
Well, I would say that again, I'm being very honored with the hospitality and the connections that we have had. The several, actually, some of them might be connected. Maybe I told them we will have this live meeting, and obviously drive safe. It has family, so driving safe is very important. We have families, and enjoy the cars, because the Corvettes are so there are these type of cars that create this passion, this fanatism, let's call it, and yes, enjoy the cars.
Absolutely, yeah. Thanks a lot for all of the kind words that you gave to us. We really enjoyed this conversation. I believe the guys are actually bagging their stuff so they can go to Venezuela as soon as possible. Yeah, I mean, believe me when I say it will be sooner than later that we might have a trip. And again, it's about knowing people in this kind of world. I've been always a fan of going to South America, but again, because as you said before, there is a lot of corruption and people might see it as unsafe to travel in there. But we know good people in there. We know Corvette owners in there.
That's right.
We will approach you directly, Daniel, and believe me, we'll have a very fantastic time, and we will exchange a lot of cultural things. And
we will take care. We will take care of you guys if you decide to come. Hopefully, maybe in sometime in the future. I hope that next year things will be much better in the country, and you will more than welcome to come, and we will host you, and we will take you to the nice beaches, nice nature. The nature in Venezuela is very beautiful. The beaches and the places, several places. So we can have a good plan for you guys here.
Thanks a lot. Enjoy the rest of the day, and
same to you. See you soon. Bye bye. Cheers. Bye bye.